Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Philly Fan Radio. The AJ drama just doesn't stop. AJ Brown was traded to the Patriots on June 1st around 4:21 Eastern Time. Yes. Okay, it didn't happen soon enough. We got a fifth round 2027 pick and a first round 2028 pick. We already talked about the compensation and whether we think it was enough for AJ. And I'll tell you what, I think we got a great deal considering his antics and his narcissistic behavior that is happening more and more. I got a lot to share with you, but let's take a step back and tell you how we actually got here. Back in 2022, during the trade, the Eagles acquired AJ Brown from the Titans. Great. He wanted out of Tennessee. Him and Vrabel did not have or see eye to eye in any of this crap. In 2023, they lost to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. A great game, to be honest with you. We all thought they were going to win, and for some reason, Mahomes and his bad ankle came back and won the game. It was a very sad loss, but they actually returned to that. So in 2023, right around the September thing, Hurts and AJ were a little frustrated on Thursday Night Football. They talked about, the catches, blah, blah, blah. And this is a year later, by the way. And then in December, he didn't even want to talk to the media against the Cardinals. Who cares? I mean, none of this stuff adds up so far on what's going on, but all of it does add up as it continues on. During the offseason in 2024, before trades and before all the drafts that are happening, AJ Brown puts a post on his Instagram wearing Tom Brady's jersey when he was a young kid. Now, this doesn't seem significant now, but as we talk to you more about some of the stuff that was happening and some of the posts and maybe the AI stuff, you realize that it's a little weird and strange. Why was he posting this? Why was he sending out this type of message? In 2024, in December, he slammed his helmets on the sideline, and said, "Hey, we need to improve passing." And don't they come back out? And this happened, what was it? What game? Oh, against the Panthers. And then they turned around and romped the Steelers. AJ had like 102, 112 yards, touchdown. It was great. It was also the Super Bowl year. They blew out the Chiefs. Brown wins. He got everything that he wanted and that he was looking for, but it just isn't enough. He had his parade speech and he said, "It's the hunt that does it for me." He's already over the Super Bowl. Dude, the Super Bowl happened a couple days ago. How are you over? How are you moving? Listen, I love the fire and everything, but his antics have really kind of dragged this on further than it needs. A huge diva, an annoyance, really. In September, he had a lot of cryptic tweets and complaints. If you got me on fantasy, get rid of me. He also had that against the Vikings, where they won, by the way. Use me, but don't use me. And then in this past year against the loss with the 49ers, he had a heated fight with Sirianni. That stuff chalks up to passion. But there's so many things that have happened since his trade that really puts us into perspective of not only his effort on the field. I mean, seriously, I think with all these messages and all this stuff and causing all this media drama, it really kind of sits ill with the fans, but also his antics on the sideline, his tweets, his lack of effort is probably what really did it for the fans. I mean, if you are a coach for the Birds and you saw AJ doing this, I'm sorry. I think Patula really didn't have the balls to say much to AJ, being that he was still new at the role and the job, and that he didn't want to cause waves, but he really should have sat his ass down. No, Jeffrey Lurie had to come and talk to him during, training camp or during practices and say, "Hey, listen, you need to knock your shit off. We're not going to have it anymore. It's causing issues, blah, blah, blah." And it's still causing. I think the trade has been in the work. And in fact, in 2024, the Patriots inquired about AJ, but that was a Super Bowl run. It didn't matter to the outside noise because the Eagles ultimately won the Super Bowl. Now, here we are. AJ gets traded and a lot more has come out. And I got to tell you guys, this is getting interesting by the day. Let's read some of this stuff and, kind of go through it. Maybe take a step back. So there is a rumor, and I cannot confirm or deny. I'm just telling you the information. I want you guys to go look at the facts because I don't want to be one of some of the speculation. That remember back when Hassan Reddick got let go of the Eagles? He was highly productive, which was really confusing. He kind of went to the Jets and all the other stuff. I had no problem with Hassan. I think he was great. I mean, he held out in minicamp then for the Jets, but who cares? It's the Jets. It's not the Eagles. It turns out that there is speculation or rumors that Hassan and AJ were having relations with the same massage therapist. Mind you, AJ wasn't married at the time, but his girlfriend, however you want to put it. And he didn't like it. And he went to Jalen, and Jalen said, "Dude, I don't want nothing in it. I'm focused on football," which is accurate and true. I mean, why drag him into the conversation? Then Brown's girlfriend slash wife went to Hurt his wife and said, "Hey, listen, you need to blah 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 talk." I don't know why she would say anything or jump in there, but apparently she didn't want any part of it. They didn't want any part of it. And that's really what caused Hassan to get traded. The Eagles are like, listen, we like AJ, and obviously Jalen's going nowhere. Hassan was the low hanging fruit. It turned out that wasn't enough for AJ because now you see the progression of the season. You see what has happened with him. You see the conversation. You see the antics on the sideline, the lack of effort, the tweets, the Patriots jersey post on Instagram of his favorite player of all time. Coincidental, that's where he's actually ending up. The rug that he supposedly has been sitting there and hasn't ever left, and he's been a huge Patriots fan for. Listen, we know that the players, when you get selected to your team, you're a fan of another team, but you're playing for another professional. It's a very controversial thing for yourself internally. We get it. We understand, but we don't see too many players give up the effort onto the field. All right. So, kind of going into this a little bit more, is that's why AJ has been causing the issues that he has on the sideline. In 2024, he caused a lot of these issues, but it didn't matter because it was overshadowed with the Super Bowl run. They were winning. They kind of defeated it. But you see some of the things that AJ has done throughout all these seasons. I didn't really give a damn about him reading a book on the sideline. I think that was him causing social media antics. He's like, "Oh man, this is going to generate a lot of conversation." And in fact, a lot of his posts did. Everybody has to take time out, like us, and talk about some of the stupid shit that AJ's doing on the sideline. I think it was a lack of effort that caused more and more of the issues. But wait, it doesn't stop there. You guys remember all the anonymous sources and all the leaks and everything out there? Well, it turns out that AJ Brown admitted to leaking the stories about the Eagles to the media to quote unquote motivate them. And he said it was done purposely to give us a push. It gives us everything legs to push everyone to be better. I feel like it was okay to do. In what mind do you think it is okay? Now, this is just rumor, blah, 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 however you want to take it, but it is a conversation in all the news media outlets, including all the radio stations. But in what mind do you feel it's okay to start leaking rumors and stuff and information behind the scenes to reporters? Like, how do you think that's going to motivate? That's not going to motivate it. It caused controversy. You saw it the first time because it wasn't the first quote unquote leak that was put out there on how, Jalen's not a coachable player. Everybody talked about it. He's not, well, however you want to look at it. Why do you think this would motivate anybody? I think him coming out and literally saying, that we need to do better as a team. Nope, he's never done that, never squashed anything. In fact, he's the one who's causing this. It feels like a narcissistic behavior that he is doing all this to get whatever he wants. And I want to talk about that in a second because does AJ feel that he won in this entire aspect? And his behavior and everything dictates he does. But anyway, why would you leak anything? That's like your closest friend leaking information to your enemies, the news, the media outlets, just to cause issues and controversy. And now it just caused an internal rift between them. No wonder you weren't getting the ball because you basically were causing the problems. And I think Jalen and I think the teammates knew that. Now, let's take a step back a second. And if you talk about all of his teammates, everybody says AJ's great, everybody, all this other thing. Whether it's true or not, that is the proper response because it minimizes all the stuff feedback. I think Jordan Mailata gave the most honest response. Thank God it's over. He didn't say thank God that AJ left. He said thank God that the trade is over, that's over, so we can actually focus on us as a team. Now, this will never be over. In fact, we discussed this on our last episode about, when is this going to end? And in fact, the entire year, it's going to be about that in the conversation. Unless AJ Brown has an injury, and I don't wish that on any player, and the Eagles do subpar or they do great, whatever it is, I still think there's going to be that conversation. Well, what if the Eagles had the Patriots? Well, what if AJ never left the Eagles? If the Eagles do really good, that all those conversations are going to be good. They have a joint practice for preseason. Great, wonderful, but neither one are going to see the field in preseason. So I really don't care. If it was an actual legit game, then it might be a hyped up game and a high value game to me. But no, they're just going to go up and practice. And what's Brown going to do? He's going to read a book on the sideline. I don't think he's really going to do much. I mean, maybe he's going to tweet. Maybe he's going to say, use me, but don't use me. And, I'll tell you what, I am glad for this. And the reason it is because all the issues that he has caused. Now it's the Patriots' problem. Now they've got to deal with it. Now the Eagles can focus on them. And right now, the news story with this and every other thing is about the things that are coming out from AJ. Let's talk about the jersey real quick. There have been reports that this came out and it's AI generated because he was wearing, Nike one and it had Tom Brady's number on it. It says that Nike didn't become the NFL's official apparel partner until 2012, and Brown was already 15 years old. Okay, first of all, this is not the first time we saw the picture in 2024 that I mentioned before. Brown put this on Instagram. He was wearing it, and, he didn't think it would cause so much controversy. Brown knows exactly what he's doing. Every single post, every single comment, he knows that it's going to be taken to the fullest context of him not being happy. He may look happy up in New England, but just give it some time. He's in a new place. It's like starting a new job. You're really happy. You're fired up. You're gung-ho. You're going to do a bunch of stuff until you realize who you have as an employee and the issues that you have. They're going to have to deal with it. It might be only a year. What if the Patriots start losing? Let's see the tweets and the stuff coming out of there. Everybody's going to say, hey, listen, this isn't the first time we saw this. This isn't the first time the Patriots or the AJ has actually put out some of the issues. The Patriots are used to controversy, so this is probably an optimal place for them. The Birds, Philadelphia, we don't like drama. You come in, you give max effort, you give it all your thing. And if it's too much pressure for you, AJ, wait till you start playing in New England and they start losing. I mean, come on. You got Vrabel, you've got an actual franchise that is used to winning, not in the last couple of years, and they are a Super Bowl team. They were there. Regardless of how crappy they played in the Super Bowl, they are a Super Bowl team. They have not the Super Bowl hangover, but more or less, they've got some high expectations, not only for them and their fans for this. Do I think the jersey was AI generated? Look, there are knockoff jerseys out there that you can get from anywhere. So there's a 50-50 chance, and I don't really give a damn about it. He's just causing issues. That's exactly what he does. Let's wrap up this discussion on AJ Brown and if he feels that he won. My thoughts on this? He's a narcissist. He does feel like he won. He got what he wanted. That's exactly what he was doing. He was hoping to go to the Patriots for the last 2 years. He feels that he pushed and he made them do it. Here's my thoughts. I think they're the only team sucker enough to take him. No other team wanted him. The Eagles did want more for him, but his on the field, off the field, tweets, and all the other stuff that they have to deal with, some teams just do not want to deal with that type of personality. That is not what they're about. So yes, AJ thinks he won. The Patriots think they won because they got a top receiver. Yeah, I still think he's, a top 20 maybe in there. And I'm talking about, number 19 3/4 or something. But he is starting to slow down. Look at his effort. When he's not winning, he's going to start to throw on the field antics. He's going to start to cry and whine and bitch about all this stuff. So to be honest with you, I think the Eagles made out better than this. They eliminated the drama. Going into the season, they're going in fresh without that. They've fully stacked on the wide receivers. Let's see how it plans out. Nobody's going to know. And after the first, let's just say week or two, that's where the conversations are going to come up. Is AJ getting his 100-yard games, but still sucking? The team's not winning. He's not getting touchdowns. He's getting knocked. Does he want to block? Is he going to be in there? I mean, if you look at the tape, he didn't give up in 1 game, 2 games, or 3. He gave up all entire season. In the 49ers lost all the drop passes. Come on. Now, why not? Why, he can't drop 3. You can tell me that's typically not him. I think the effort's not there. The heart's not there. And he got what he wanted. He won. He did. But personally, he won. Everybody else are the true winners. Everybody, this has been the Philly Fan Radio.